What if I told you the biggest threat to your child's brain isn't junk food? It's this? Show phone in hand. American kids now spend between 6 to 8 hours a day on screens. But what is that really doing to their developing brain? Is social media just entertainment? Or is it quietly changing how your child thinks, feels, and focuses? Before we dive in, if you care about your child's health and want science-backed information that actually helps American families, make sure you subscribe to The Health Reason and turn on notifications. We break down complex health topics in simple, practical ways so you can make smarter decisions for your family. Section 1. The Dopamine Trap. Let's go deeper. When a child scrolls through short-form content, their brain is being trained to expect novelty every few seconds. New face, new sound, new joke, new emotional trigger. This constant novelty creates what neuroscientists call variable reward conditioning. It's the same psychological principle used in slot machines. You never know which swipe will bring something exciting. That unpredictability keeps the brain hooked. Now imagine this happening during critical developmental years. Children's brains are highly plastic, meaning they adapt quickly to repeated behaviors. If most of a child's free time is spent in rapid-fire digital stimulation, neural pathways supporting quick reactions strengthen, but pathways responsible for patience, deep focus, and delayed gratification may not develop as strongly. Over time, this can affect homework endurance, reading stamina, long-term goal setting, emotional self-regulation. You might notice your child saying things like, "I'm bored," within minutes of starting something non-digital. That's not necessarily an attitude, it may be adaptation. Another factor many parents overlook is emotional intensity. Social media content is often extreme, extremely funny, extremely dramatic, extremely shocking. When the brain gets used to high emotional spikes, everyday life can feel dull in comparison. And when real life feels dull, the brain seeks the phone again. This doesn't mean permanent damage. The brain is resilient, but it does mean habits matter, especially during childhood and adolescence. The earlier patterns form, the deeper they root. The encouraging news, the same plasticity that allows rewiring, can also allow recovery when healthy habits are introduced consistently. Section 2. Attention, memory, and sleep disruption. Now let's talk about cognitive overload. When kids switch between apps, texting, watching videos, checking notifications, the brain is constantly task switching. And despite popular belief, multitasking is largely a myth. The brain doesn't truly multitask, it rapidly switches attention. Each switch comes with a cognitive cost. Microseconds of lost focus accumulate. Over hours and days, this repeated fragmentation trains the brain to operate in short bursts, rather than sustained concentration. Deep learning requires uninterrupted focus. Reading a chapter, solving multi-step problems, writing creatively. If the brain is conditioned for interruption, sustained focus becomes harder. Parents sometimes describe it as, it's like their mind is always somewhere else. There's also something called continuous partial attention. It's the state where someone is never fully focused on one thing because they're subconsciously anticipating the next notification. That constant anticipation keeps stress hormones slightly elevated. Over months and years, that low-level alert state can affect emotional stability. Now add sleep disruption to that equation. When children check phones at night, they're not only exposed to blue light, they're exposed to emotional stimulation. A funny video, a stressful message, a comparison-triggering post. The brain doesn't differentiate between digital stress and real-world stress. Late-night stimulation delays deep sleep cycles. And deep sleep is when memory consolidation happens. That's when the brain organizes and stores what it learns during the day. Less deep sleep are weaker memory integration. It becomes a silent academic disadvantage. Again, not instant, not dramatic, but gradual. Section 3. Emotional and psychological impact. Let's explore the emotional layer more deeply. Adolescence is already a time of heightened sensitivity. Hormones fluctuate. Identity is forming. Social belonging becomes critically important. Now introduce a digital environment where popularity is publicly quantified. Follower counts, like counts, view counts. Numbers become a visible scorecard. Even subtle differences in engagement can shape self-perception. If a teen posts something and receives less interaction than expected, it can feel like social rejection even if logically they know it shouldn't matter. The brain processes social rejection similarly to physical pain. That's how deeply wired belonging is in human biology. Then there's algorithmic exposure. Social media algorithms often prioritize emotionally intense content. Conflict spreads faster than calm discussion. Outrage spreads faster than neutrality. Repeated exposure to intense content can normalize heightened emotional responses. Over time, some teens may experience increased irritability, reduced tolerance for disagreement, heightened comparison anxiety, fear of missing out on experiences. There's also the pressure to curate an identity. Instead of simply being themselves, some teens begin crafting a digital version of themselves designed for approval. That psychological split between real self and online self can quietly strain mental well-being. Again, moderation and guidance matter. Digital literacy conversations, teaching kids how algorithms work and how content is curated, can reduce psychological impact significantly. Awareness reduces vulnerability. Section 4. Practical solutions for parents. Now let's expand on solutions in a realistic way. Many parents attempt sudden strict bans, but abrupt removal often increases resistance and secrecy. Instead, think in terms of collaborative structure. Have a family meeting. Explain why boundaries exist. Share concerns calmly without blame. When children understand the reasoning, compliance improves. Another powerful strategy is modeling behavior. If parents are constantly on their phones, children internalize that pattern. Digital habits are often mirrored. Consider charging phones outside bedrooms overnight, setting shared screen-free hours, using built-in screen time tracking tools. Transparency builds accountability. You can also teach self-awareness. Ask your child, how do you feel after using that app for an hour? Encourage reflection rather than restriction alone. Some families implement a content quality rule. Educational or creative content is treated differently than endless passive scrolling. The goal isn't perfection. It's balanced, and balance requires ongoing adjustment. Every child is different. Some are more sensitive to digital stimulation than others. Pay attention to patterns unique to your child. If grades drop, sleep declines, or mood shifts noticeably after increased screen time, that's data. Use observation, not fear. And remember, connection is stronger than control. When children feel emotionally secure at home, digital validation becomes less powerful. The strongest protective factor for a child's brain isn't restriction alone. It's a relationship. Note, your child's brain is one of the most powerful, adaptable organs in the world. It is constantly learning, constantly shaping itself based on experiences. Social media isn't evil, but unmanaged use during critical developmental years can quietly influence focus, mood, sleep, and emotional resilience. As parents, awareness is power. If this video helped you understand what might be happening beneath the surface, share it with another parent who needs to see this. And if you want practical, research-based health content designed for American families, subscribe to The Health Reason and turn on notifications. We post videos that help you protect what matters most, your family's health. Because when you know better, you can do better.